Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Noah Unleashed. If you're new here, I'm Melball and I like watching Japanese wrestling. And this is Noah Unleashed, a weekly news and review show where I talk about my favorite Japanese wrestling company, Pro Wrestling Noah. If you're not new here, welcome back to the glorious, glorious chaos. That is your Melball. As per usual this month, I've just been going hard with rehearsals on the weekend, so I'm late getting this video up, and I'm actually very, very late getting this video up. This is the Monday Magic show. I didn't actually get to do an episode for the first one, but this is episode 2, and boy howdy, are we in for a treat. For this one, we're getting introduced to some amazing talents from around the world, but before I get into that, I need you guys to like the video, subscribe to OLE, turn on notifications to be alerted every time we drop a new video. Alrighty, so without further ado, you guys, we are going to get into the Monday Magic Xtreme Series episode 2 from October 20th. This series has introduced us to some new guys coming in from Spain, who I believe go by the faction name the Barcelona Blacklist, as well as a guy named, where is his name? Nathan DeWind, who is known as the Flying Dutchman. We have had some incredible matches on the first episode. We're going to talk about it on this episode as well, going into match number 1, which is a 6-man tag team match featuring the team of Eddie Vergara, Iker Navarro, and Nathan DeWind, taking on Naomichi Marufuji, Daiki Odashima, and Narukai Mochizuki. Now, I've not seen Mochizuki before. He is a legend in this business, but I had not seen him before this point, keeping in mind I only started watching Pro Wrestling Noah a little under a year ago. So this was a treat for me because not only did I get introduced to the Barcelona Blacklist in Vergara, Navarro, and DeWind? Almost works, DeWind, but I also got to be introduced to Mochizuki. So to start off here, we had DeWind and Odashima starting with some really cool looking amateur wrestling before picking up the speed and later in their sequence. But in the beginning here, keeping it very slow, very controlled, very, very cool to show off those skills of both these men. So DeWind hitting a bow and arrow on Odashima, but he reverses it into a pin attempt. I really like seeing that. I was just thinking about it as I was watching the next show, which is the Sunny Voyage show, and I was like, not a lot of people do that. And then I saw it twice, but still really, really cool, unique move that I don't typically see a lot outside of Japan. So, Odashima at this point begins to target the left arm of DeWind. DeWind? Oh, that's going to be a problem. DeWind? Oh, goodness. Okay. And which Mochizuki continues to work on when he comes into the ring. Mochizuki with a double drop kick on DeWind and Navarro. I almost did it again. Marufuji coming in with a wicked hop into the corner on Navarro, but he comes back, knocking down Marufuji and hitting a senton. Vergara powering through Odashima with lariats and a diving crossbody for 2, and then following up with a bulldog and a big boot also for 2. Vergara going for an arm drag, but Odashima holds onto the rope and then grabs Vergara off the floor for his signature gut wrench suplex. So Team Noah trying to run in on Vergara, but he olays Odashima into the corner. He olays Mochizuki into the corner. Marufuji almost didn't fall for it. He still ends up in the corner anyway, though, and Vergara does a run-in with the double knees. So the Barcelona Blacklist double team where Navarro does a springboard drop kick into Odashima, who gets launched into Vergara, who does a release German, and then DeWind follows up with a 450 splash, but Team Noah does get in to make the save. So Navarro also hits a swanton to the outside, followed by DeWind also hitting a tope con hilo. So the finish comes, you guys, with Odashima tying up the feet of Vergara and pinning him. Odashima always has that little secret pin in his back pocket when things are starting to go sideways. He just kind of pulls it out for a nice quick finish. That's pretty much what happened here. I dispute the pin just a little bit though, just because Vergara's his feet very obviously past the rope. However, it was still a phenomenal match. Great opener and a great introduction to some of these guys coming in from overseas. I do really like seeing them starting in these multi-people matches because it gives them little opportunities to kind of take a step back and also see how everybody else is working. So it's a nice little opportunity to scout things before getting back in there. These guys have been working so well together, and we're going to continue talking about them a little bit later when the next group of the Blacklist come up. But from here, we're going to go into match number 2, which I was excited for. Match number 2 is a singles match between the great Sakuya and Miyuki Takase with special guest referee Nozawa, not Ozawa. He's lurking somewhere else right now. Nozawa. So, Nozawa, if you guys recall, or sorry, I didn't do the first episode, but on the first episode, Nozawa did kind of call out Sakuya and was kind of not happy with her about how he's been treated by her over the last little bit of Monday Magic Series. So, when he came out to complain about it, she ended up misting him, which also kind of led to his involvement in this match. Let's get into the match so we can talk about why this really wasn't a thing. So Sakuya wearing the black face paint as she comes in looks really cool. I love seeing that face paint on her. Looks so freaking cool. As Nozawa is going in to do his referee checks, Sakuya mists him because because as Sasaki it is. And Takase rushes in to kind of start a ground and pound to start the match. We get another ref in. Nozawa declines to come back in, and that's completely understandable. I wouldn't want to be in there either. Sakuya whips Takase into the corner, but she uses the momentum to climb up the ropes and then hit a second rope dropkick on Sakuya. So, Sakuya fakes misting. So she goes to do the motions of the misting and instead just Yoshis her, just sticks her tongue out at her. Takase, though, not letting her mess with her at this point in time, and just starts firing shots into the face of Sakuya. So Sakuya with a wicked thrust kick, but Takase hits a snap body slam on the follow-up. Takase with a rolling inverted Death Valley driver and then follows up with a second rope leg drop, but Sakuya moves out of the way and hits a low angle kick on her. So a little dance from Sakuya at this point before going into dancing into a spin kick. I love the character work of this. It's so entertaining, so enjoyable. So, Sakuya faking the mist again, but this time nailing Takase with a huge strike after she puts her arms down, and then a spinning low-angle kick to the gut, a body slam, and a top rope moonsault, but Takase does get her knees up for that moonsault. So, the finish here comes, you guys. After landing on Takase's knees for that moonsault, Sakuya laying on the ground, as Takase goes to grab her, she just mists her right in the face and right in front of the referee, who disqualifies her because obvious. Sakuya doesn't care. She doesn't care. Did I expect the match to end in a normal way? No, absolutely not. Did I expect it to end in a disqualification? Kind of, sort of, maybe in a way. I didn't want it to, but just given the animosity going in with these two, I kind of expected there to be a lack of pop off for this feud, especially because it's just starting to kind of get juicy. So, after the disqualification, Sakuya starts doing a little dancey dance to Takase's music as it's playing, which suddenly cuts off, and an imposing voice begins to echo through the hall. I immediately recognize this voice. I get super excited because I know you guys. Nightshade has arrived at Pro Wrestling Noah. I am so excited for this. This is going to be phenomenal. She comes out almost looking like there's going to be some tension between her and Sakuya. Not the case. They embrace and just happy dappy about it. I'm happy dappy about it. Everybody should be happy dappy about this, except for Takase. Because at this point, she boots and nails Takase with a Samoan drop before taking the microphone and saying that she is here. She is here for a match, and it's going to be next week for Monday Magic final episode. It is going to be the Great Sakuya and Nightshade, along with another mystery partner, taking on Miyuki Takase and her two partners. I'm excited for this. Y'all should be excited for this. Takase's friends. Takase, who has some good friends. You know who we're not going to be seeing, though? Her good friend Takumi Rohan. We're going to talk about that a little bit later in the show. But from here, we're going to go into match number 3, which had another group of the Barcelona Blacklist in Joey Torres and Sito Sanchez taking on Los Golpeadores, Dragon Bane, and Alpha Wolf. Let's freaking go! This is going to be phenomenal, and it freaking was. So getting into this match, Alpha Wolf hitting very, very strong and hard right out of the hop as soon as the bell goes off, knocking down Sanchez with multiple shoulder tackles before trying on the Spanish meat. And it didn't seem to sit well with Alpha Wolf kind of coming around, not too happy about it, but it just kept going. So we had our first nom of the match right away. Dragon Bane coming in, hitting that handspring backflip over Sanchez before hitting a drop kick for 2. So the Blacklist and to do a double team on Dragon Bane, hanging him up on the rope and then following up, taking out the knee, hitting a back elbow and a senton, and then knocking Alpha Wolf off of the apron. On the outside, Dragon Bane sends Torres into the waiting arms of Alpha Wolf, who gives him a backbreaker, but Sanchez hits a tope suicida to Los Golpeadores, but they catch him. Alpha Wolf catches him, and they toss him face first into the post. So Dragon Bane locking on what I thought was a grounded abdominal stretch before rolling him over into a pin for 2. Alpha Wolf coming in, and we get our second nom of the match where but this one, again, not sitting well with the stomach of Alpha Wolf. I don't know. Maybe the meat's undercooked. I don't know. They're not as tan as Alpha Wolf, so maybe it's not as cooked. I don't know. He starts making vomiting noises and puking noises, which I found really amusing. So Alpha Wolf chopping Torres to the ground, and we get our third nom of the match. This one seems to be a little bit better. Maybe it's just the hands of Torres that are just not too tasty for him. I'm not entirely sure. So Los Golpeadores with their handspring thrust kick double team on Torres looked phenomenal. We get our fourth but brief nom on the hand of Torres as he is desperately trying to tag out. Alpha Wolf then sends him to the corner where Torres takes the opportunity to knock Dragon Bane off the apron, at which point he thrust kicks Alpha Wolf trying to escape, but Alpha Wolf does grab the foot to prevent him from making it, and he's kind of like he's like almost diving for the corner, and Alpha Wolf just kind of grabs the foot and denies him, kind of crawling out of there. Dragon Bane comes back in, and Torres kicks at Alpha Wolf, but catches Dragon Bane instead, which distracts Alpha Wolf enough that Torres can backflip out and hit a drop kick. So Sanchez body slams over and over and over again, followed by a missile drop kick like tope suicida, a missile-like tope suicida that sends Dragon Bane 5 rows back into the audience, followed by Torres hitting the moonsault. The double team from the Blacklist where they hang Alpha Wolf in the middle of the rope and Torres hits a swanton bomb, and then Sanchez uses the momentum from the flip over to hit a power bomb on Alpha Wolf was freaking cool. So, oh, I lost my spot there. Okay, Alpha Wolf thrust kicks the soul out of Sanchez for a minute there and pops Torres up to the ceiling before just open palm striking him right in the face. And then, to the back of the neck and the traps, which, yeah, I've been seeing that a little bit more lately. Looks like not so awesome. The finish comes, you guys. Alpha Wolf saving Dragon Bane from Sanchez with a big lariat, then handing Sanchez off to Dragon Bane before hitting a plancha to Torres on the outside, and Sanchez attempting to block the Santa Maria with a thrust kick, but Dragon Bane is a patient man, and he waits patiently, nails him with both a thrust kick and a Santa Maria. Los Copiadores stand tall in this one. Holy hecking crap. Holy hecking crap. That was utterly insane. So then after the match, Alpha Wolf looking to double his nom count here, chewing on both Dragon Bane and the ref. Dragon Bane saving the ref, but like no one there to save Dragon Bane. The Spanish guys are so freaking good. They have that perfect combination of performance ability and in-ring psychology where they know how to sell. They make those facial expressions. They know how to get the crowd fired up. They want to get the crowd fired up, especially the guys in the first match. This group of guys that they always get for these Monday Magic shows are just so good. We got people like Titus Alexander coming through. We got people like Starboy Charlie coming through. The last tour, we had Titus O'Neil as well. We had Archie Cole, Danny Duggan, Robert Martyr. Like, Noah is becoming the place to get the best talent, not just in Japan, but in the world. And I absolutely love it. And this match especially just helps elevate that statement so much. I'm going to keep rambling about it if y'all let me. But that being said, we had a count of 7 nom-noms. Again, Alpha Wolf doubling his count after with the extra nom-noms. But I counted 7. If we see more, maybe dispute it. I'm thinking I need to start doing like a prediction with these nom-noms. Make it a little bit more fun. I have some tequila. Maybe I should start predicting nom-noms. And if he does it, having a shot of tequila. We'll see if we can do that. Anyway, from here, we're going to move on to match number 4, which is a singles match. And speaking of Danny Duggan, he's back on this tour, and he's taking on Charles Crowley. Crowley? Ish. I think he's Crowley. Charles Crowley. Crowley sounds better. Anyway, very interesting gimmick coming out of Crowley. Crowley? We're going to go with Crowley. If someone knows the proper pronunciation, do let me know. But anyway, very carnival, whimsical, almost like freak show-esque kind of feel with him. Comes out with like a little balloon. Adorable, little top hat. Balloon becomes importante later in the match. So, let's adjust myself in the chair here first. Let's get into this match because this was a fun one to unpack. So the chain wrestling in the start to keep the pace a little bit slower before Duggan escapes a wrist lock with a headstand, which looked really cool. Crowley, very much a showman, very much getting to the crowd going, which I think is a good contrast with Duggan, because Duggan is a very lock-in kind of UK-style technical wrestler. He's not always catering to the crowd. Working with someone like Crowley actually brought out a little bit more personality than we usually do see in Duggan, or at least that I have seen in him in Japan. Really, really enjoyed it because we got to see this level of frustration in that seriousness of Duggan that was being just egged on by the whimsy of Crowley. So, Crowley gets Duggan in a head scissors and starts slapping on the chest of Duggan before Duggan rolls the hips around, kind of trying to get the best momentum. He starts to confuse Crowley a little bit, kind of like, what are you doing? And then goes into a headstand, further confusing Crowley, and then allowing Duggan to escape and transition into a step over toe hold. He holds here for a little bit before transitioning into a bow and arrow, which Crowley quickly reverses. Get that bow and arrow. I'm really loving that. And again, I don't usually see it over here in North America, but I love seeing it in Japan and the Lucha Mexican style. So Duggan willing the crowd to cheer. And again, this is what I mean. I've seen Duggan. This is the second tour I think that I've seen him on. And this is the kind of first time I've seen him comfortable enough to kind of get the crowd hyped up for him. So yeah, I'm hoping this is the start of this continued behavior, because just a little bit, that little nugget is just enough. Because any more, I feel like he would start to change the character, but any less, he would start to feel bland. I feel like this is the perfect amount of fucks to give, maybe, is the right description. We'll keep going here. So Crowley tries to do the friend thing by offering a magic trick, which turns out to be pulling a fist out of the hat and punching him in the face with it. Duggan not impressed with that magic trick. He swings at him, but he is... I have a lot of mistakes in there. Crowley actually gets the hat up and traps the hand Duggan in the hat, and then he pokes the eyes. Again, such a showman, Crowley. Very, very funny, very entertaining. Snap suplex by Duggan, which was picture perfect. So good. Crowley grabbing the balloon and attempting diving something, but Duggan actually uppercuts him out of the sky and then pins him for 2, but the balloon lifts the shoulder of Crowley off the ground, which was hilarious. And he tried this a couple more, like pinning him a couple more times after this. And again, the balloon just lifting the arm of Crowley, preventing Duggan from being able to get that pin. At this point, Duggan gets so pissed off that he bops the balloon and the crowd starts booing him. It was, again, that subtlety. He doesn't have to do much. He just has to do enough to piss off the crowd, and I love it. So, enraged by the bubble popping, Crowley hits a springboard cutter, but only gets a 2. There's a release German by Duggan and a solid brainbuster for 2. Daga level solid brainbuster. It was so good. So the finish comes with Duggan hitting an avalanche brainbuster, but when Duggan goes to roll through with it, Crowley traps the legs in a cradle and scores a surprise win over Duggan. Hi! Please excuse the face. I just got home from the gym and realized that I had recorded this improperly. It was not a win for Crowley. It was a draw win for both of them, as both shoulders were down, and I probably should have noticed that because the ref was counting both the shoulders. On with the show. I love this. This was really, really fun. This Crowley also, I honestly haven't looked into it. I've just followed him on social media. I haven't really started researching him, but also giving me strong UK strong style vibes, which is probably why these two worked so well together. But what I really did enjoy is that Crowley seems to have unlocked another level of Duggan, which again, I hope that he continues to pull forward. And then we saw a happy little handshake at the end of this as well. So from here, we're going to go into match number 5, which was a 4-way elimination match. And it featured Alejandro taking on Starboy Charlie. I love Starboy Charlie. Taking on AMAKUSA, taking on HAYATA. So there was a lot of notes in this one. I'm going to go through it as quickly as possible so we don't have a crazy long show here. But Alejandro headlocks AMAKUSA. Starboy Charlie headlocks Alejandro, and HAYATA headlocks Starboy Charlie. We got a little Congo train of headlocks going on here. Hayata then pushed to the ropes and hops everyone like a track star he is, and then hits a sunset flip on a Mosca who's trying to pin Starboy Charlie. But Alejandro rolls Hayata into a crucifix pin, and then Starboy Charlie grabs the legs of Hayata, flips him over, but I'm pretty sure Alejandro ended up in the pinning position. And just the wild start. That was literally the first sequence of this match, which tell you how chaotically amazing the rest of this match was. Synchronized Ranas by Alejandro and Starboy Charlie, followed by the fake out dives and the little dancey dance and the ring before Alejandro boots Starboy Charlie. Starboy Charlie with a knee drop to the head and immediately follows up with a drop kick. Kip up again to Alejandro. Hayata taking out Starboy Charlie with his signature atomic drop and single leg drop kick before Mosca trips him up. Mosca reversing a run-in by Hayata to hit a Rana on Alejandro, and then sweeping the leg of Hayata to cause him to drop kick Alejandro in the face. He follows that up with a tilt-a-whirl arm drag. Just the insane skill and technicality of a Mosca that is just... It's so unique, so cool, so just synonymous with a Mosca. These juniors, though, the speed of all of these guys is absolutely insane. They're so fast. So, Mosca trying an avalanche suplex on Starboy Charlie, but Hayata comes in and power bombs Mosca, which also suplexes Starboy Charlie, and Alejandro comes like quite literally out of nowhere on the bottom of the screen to hit a huge body press on Starboy Charlie for 2. Then he tries to pin Mosca immediately, again only gets a 2. These guys were just go, 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 go. It's phenomenal. So Alejandro with a tope con hilo taking out a Mosca and Starboy Charlie immediately hops back on the apron and hits Hayata with a jumping high kick, that vaulting double stomp from the apron that he does to the inside, and then follows up with a rolling DDT. These guys are crazy. So the code red by Alejandro on Hayata for 2. Mosca pushing Alejandro off the top rope to the outside and then follows up with his tope suicida twisty thingamajiggy and tosses Alejandro back in to hit his corkscrew senton to eliminate Alejandro. We are down to a Mosca, Starboy Charlie, and Hayata. So, where was that? Okay, Starboy Charlie. Choose the bear. Bear with me on this. I'm going to have to try to describe this. This one's a little confusing for me to write down. So Starboy Charlie reverses the springboard from a Mosca into like this Uranagi looking thing and then immediately hits a standing backflip corkscrew press. Again, the talent of these men is just utterly insane. The things that they can do, it just chef's kiss. So the next elimination, again, a bit of a mouthful. Choose the bear and bear with me. So a Mosca sending Starboy Kid Charlie. Why did I say Starboy Kid? Starlight Kid? I don't know. Anyway, okay, a Mosca sending Starboy Charlie to the corner where Hayata hits a high kick on him, and then a Mosca attempts to eventually crucifix pin him. Hayata pulls the foot, though, putting Starboy Charlie in the pinning position and then laying on top of Starboy Charlie so a Mosca cannot kick out, and a Mosca is eliminated. We are now down to Starboy Charlie and Hayata. And I am so excited because this will be so good. Anyway, okay. So, Starboy Charlie hitting, the Starboy special? Endo special? The cartwheel to the flippy outside. I absolutely love it. Starboy Charlie going for what I think was a backflip Pele, but Hayata low kicks him out of the sky. So we have the finish, you guys. The finish comes with Starboy Charlie hitting a jumping boot to the face of Hayata in the corner, and then follows up with the shooting star press for the win over the hardcore champion. This was so good. This was so good. The crowd was on absolute fire for this. And after which point, post-match, Starboy Charlie takes the mic and he challenges HAYATA for that hardcore championship, which he earned that opportunity fair and square by winning this match and pinning the hardcore champion. But before HAYATA can answer, the announcer kind of runs up and goes, "Hey, hi, sorry to interrupt, but I have a message, a note, if you will, that has been passed to me about somebody also wanting to speak to you, and the message reads as such: Dear HAYATA, I am someone who has never crossed paths with you in the ring in my life. Having watched the recent championship match, if it's not too rude to request, would it be possible for you to accept my challenge next week?" After brief deliberation with whatever bodies are inside, HAYATA chooses to accept both challenges, and next week on Monday Magic, the final episode, we get a 3-way match for the Hardcore Championship. HAYATA defending against Starboy Charlie and this mystery opponent who has never crossed paths with HAYATA, which would tell me a few things, just going on some guessing. One, this person probably hasn't worked Japan before, or if they have, they're new. And I don't want to sit here and overthink it. So I'm just going to hope, based on what Noah has been doing recently, that we're going to get an opportunity to see a new local Japanese person coming up through the indies, maybe someone that HAYATA could consider teaming with in the future. We don't know, but I'm not going to speculate on it because it's going to make my head hurt. But who do you think, or who would you like it to be? Someone who hasn't crossed paths with HAYATA, never faced him. I wonder if he's ever faced anybody he knows. I wonder if it's Titus Alexander. No, Titus Alexander, I'm sure, has been in the ring with him. Guess we'll have to wait and see until next week. But from here, we got the announcements on the show about what the next year's series are going to be like. So the next Monday Magic series that's going to be happening is the Monday Magic Rising Sun series that's going to be taking place January 19th, 26th, as well as February 2nd and 9th. Then we have the Universe Magic series happening. That's going to be happening on March 9th and April 6th. We have the Monday Magic Inside Out season that is happening May 18th, 25th, and June 8th. And then we have Wrestle Magic, which is going to be happening June 15th. Let's freaking go. I am so excited. It's going to be a great year. Gonna be a great year for Pro Wrestling Noah. So, from here, we thought we were going into match number 6, but we weren't. We heard some familiar music, and I lost, well, it's familiar to me. I lost my absolute mind because the sweet, beautiful, angelic music that was echoing through the stadium at this point was that of the incredible, the amazing, talented, crazy deathmatch queen extraordinaire, Risa Sarah, is in the building. She comes out. She just calmly comes out. Just, Takumi Iroha, come on down. And she came on down after some pretty brief and calm words of respect back and forth, it seems. A match has been signed and acknowledged for next week. Monday Magic finale. We get not one, but 2 championship matches. HAYATA defending the Hardcore Championship against Starboy Charlie and mystery opponent. And Takumi Iroha is going to be defending the GHC Women's Championship against Risa Sarah. I'm happy. You should be happy. Everybody needs to be happy and jovious about this. This is incredible news. Incredible news. So, coming off of that incredible news, we're going to go to an incredible main event, which was match number 6. And this was a tag team match. For some reason, I wrote a singles match. It was not a singles match. It was a tag team match that featured the team of Titus Alexander and Kenoh taking on the team of Kaito Kiyomiya and Daichi Hashimoto. Hashimoto terrifies me. It just the presence that he has coming out was fine. I was fine with this posing and intimidating look. And then he started wrestling, and I was like, oh, sweet Mary. I'm scared. This man is so strong. So let's get into it. Sportsmanship at the beginning from Titus Alexander, shaking the hands of both Hashimoto and Kiyomiya. Though tension, very obvious still, between Alexander and Kiyomiya. After this match, I have opinions. We'll talk about it after. Let's talk about the match right now. Kenoh and Hashimoto, it felt like a sparring contest at the beginning of this, not even a wrestling match. We were watching UFC. And they were just kicking, striking, kicking, blocking. And what was insane about it is at one point I realized, because I was paying attention to the feet, because the feet were the things moving the most, because Kenoh. But what terrified me at one point is when I rewound it a little bit and started watching, I was like, there's an uncomfortable level of eye contact that Hashimoto has with Kenoh while doing this. Bro, you're not even looking where you're throwing strikes. You're that accurate. And this is why I'm scared of this man. Very educated with where his limbs go. I need that kind of level of education. Anyway, the thigh kicks become the story of these two for a little bit, just especially Kenoh going after Hashimoto. There was also the PKs that started happening with Kenoh just kicking the butt of Hashimoto. He started clowning him a little bit also, and then eventually kind of Keno'd and tagged out and ran away. It's so Kenoh. Is that a verb, an adverb now? Very Kenoh-y. So Alexander politely asking Hashimoto to tag in Kiyomiya, which he obliges. Very, very nice, respectful. And the speed goes from spar to crazy. Hitting the ropes, pin attempts, reversals, these two, so fast, so talented, Alexander and Kiyomiya. I love seeing these two get in there together because you know it's going to be insane. The double team when Kenoh was done clowning Hashimoto after he knocks him off the apron, double back elbow to Kiyomiya, followed by Kenoh and Alexander exchanging PK kicks over and over again. So mean, so rude. Drop kick up combo from Kiyomiya to come back. Alexander with a rolling that back double thrust that he does so perfectly in the corner before tagging out. Kenoh coming in and catching Kiyomiya in the with an ankle lock, and then but Kiyomiya does make it to the ropes. There's a spinning mid kick followed by a step up enziguri in the corner by Hashimoto. There's a high kick exchanged by Hashimoto and Kenoh, in which Hashimoto briefly coming out on top before Kenoh knocks him just clean off his feet. Alexander hitting a crossbody on Hashimoto before hitting a Frankensteiner and a tope con hilo. Alexander also going for a buzzsaw kick, but Hashimoto ducks it, grabs the leg, and then knees the hamstring of the leg that he is holding before delivering a dragon screw leg whip and locking on an STF. Kenoh does come in to help out Alexander in this, but Kiyomiya does feed him a dragon screw leg whip as well, and then ties him up in a figure four. So Kiyomiya feeds Alexander uppercuts in the corner, as well as a dragon screw, but Alexander answers with a handspring cutter. So Kenoh hits a PK on Kiyomiya. Alexander hits a brainbuster for 2, and then Kenoh hits a double stomp, but Alexander can still only get a 2. There's a DDT by Hashimoto on Alexander, followed by a Shining Wizard by Kiyomiya for 2. Hashimoto hits a dragon screw on Alexander and then follows up kicking Kenoh off of the apron. And then Hashimoto hits a Shining Wizard to the back of the head of Alexander. Kiyomiya comes in and hits a Shining Wizard as well to the front. And Hashimoto pins Alexander, but Kenoh comes in to make the save. At this point, we get the 20-second announcement, and I was like, oh, shit, I was just having such a good time watching this, I didn't even realize there's a time limit on this, and you start to see everyone kind of start scrambling. Hashimoto hits a German suplex hold on Alexander, but Alexander kicks out. As Alexander and Hashimoto are fighting to get up, the time limit expires, and we end in a time limit draw. Alexander's still ready to go. He wanted to keep going in the face of Kiyomiya. I suspect we are going to eventually be getting to either a one-on-one with these two or something, but like I need it. I need it soon. Holy heck, but I'd also like to see a little bit more build. I love how these two work together in the ring. I want to see a little bit more of a build outside before we get a bit of a pop off, and we know that both of these guys are more than capable of talking. So this brings us to the end of the Monday Magic Xtreme Series, episode 2. Did you guys get a chance to check this out? Are you guys enjoying this series? I find it to be like almost like an NXT that like gives you, I don't know, like tastes, little flavor enhancers of people from outside the company, be like, hey, what do you think of this? Do we want to see these people more? Do we want to see these people more? Kind of thing. The answer is yes. Yeah, absolutely. I want to see Titus Alexander a lot more. I want to see Starboy Charlie a lot more. I want to see Danny Duggan a lot more. And you know what? Bring over his friend. What's his name? Fancy. Ryan Clancy? We saw him as well. Robert Martyr, bring him back. I love the talent that Noah is introducing us to, because Noah in itself is such a diverse and talented locker room. So before I start rambling about this, we're going to go into the end of the video. Guys, if you want to watch Pro Wrestling Noah, I will leave a link for you to Wrestle Universe in the description box below. $13 Canadian, $9 American. It's an amazing price to watch some amazing strong style wrestling, because you not only get access to Pro Wrestling Noah, you also get access to DDT. You also get access to Tokyo Joshi Pro, to Marigold, and so many more. There's 10 companies totals now. You pay $13 alone for access to New Japan, and that in itself is also amazing wrestling. But this is 13 on its own for 10 companies. You can't go wrong with that, you guys. And that also being said, you should also probably like this video, subscribe to OLE, and turn on notifications to be alerted every time we drop a new video, because I got more coming out this week. This is the first of a few that I am recording just back to back to back because I gotta get them out for you guys, and we got more shows coming up this weekend, and I have more rehearsals coming up this weekend. So if you want a daily dose of your Melball, you can catch me on the X thing at Collins Melball. And you can catch me on everything else: Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Mastodon, and Blue Sky at Melball Collins. Okay, that all being said, you guys, brings us to the end of the episode. I am your Melball. Matane. Mwah.